What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. Proud member of the CLNS Media Network. Make sure to subscribe to the Pat's Chat podcast, Patriots Press Pass, all the great podcasts that are on CLNS, Pat's Interference, all of them. Michael, the Patriots, they're AFC East champions.
It's true.
Happened in pretty undramatic fashion. I think the Patriots were probably getting off a plane when it happened.
Actually, they just posted a video. It's a pretty good video. They watched on the bus.
Oh, man.
They were crowded around a phone on the bus on the way back to Gillette.
They were on the bus.
They watched Josh Allen miss a wide open wide receiver in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. They cheered. They got their hats and T-shirts. Vrabel gave a little speech. It's pretty, it was non-dramatic in the first half of the day from the Patriots win perspective, but certainly the way the Bills played at the end, it was a fun day. I think everyone in New England had a fun football day, even if the Patriots-Jets game was a non-competitive affair.
Yeah, I don't know if you were saying that you were having fun during that game.
Some people like that stuff. Not me. I prefer an interesting, competitive, on-the-level game. But I think that from a Patriots perspective, the fact that you took a bad team and bent them over your knee and slapped their ass for 60 full minutes is a good thing because, it's the Jets, right, Doug? There were a lot of injuries. There were a lot of guys out. And I looked at that and I saw the 13.5-point spread. I'm like, this could be a close game.
I know.
It was not. It was never.
I chickened out at the last second.
It was never a close game.
Because I picked the Patriots to cover in my 10 things column. But then, once Hollins is going on IR, once this is happening, once that's happening, I was on 98.5 this morning. At this point, that was 14 hours ago.
What a day.
And my friend Alex Barth was like, what do you think? Injuries? I was like, 13.5 feels like a lot. I don't know. So I kind of chickened out. But first of all, I also did want to tell all the listeners and viewers that I'm showing so much dedication to the podcast that I just drove home from New Jersey and I'm still wearing my clothing from covering the game. I didn't even change before recording this podcast with Michael Hurley. I did say goodnight to my daughter because that was more important than the podcast, but didn't even change. I think this game still proves something. First of all, first take off the bat. That's a show that Cam Newton's on. First take.
Tuesdays.
We know that now. That was the best game of Drake Maye's career. And statistically, it was the best quarterback performance of the season.
Yeah, he was 19 for 21, and one of those was a drop.
Yes.
I think of
the other one, he was kind of under pressure, threw it to Demario Douglas. You're allowed one incompletion.
Yeah, he did have another throwaway, but that was when he was still perfect. And I think he was 10 for 10, and then a flag came, so it didn't count.
Right.
So, I think he threw it at his feet because he was covered. It was sort of a get the ball out.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think it wound up being a 99.8 QBR.
Yeah, a 157 rating.
And the expected QBR from RBSDM was 100. His EPA per play was off the charts. His completion percentage over expected was almost 30%. Just absolute bonkers crap happening with Drake Maye in this game. And yes, it's the Jets. But I've got a pretty salient point about this. Other teams have played the Jets this season.
It's true. That's about probably 13 of them.
And no other quarterback has had this performance against the Jets. And the Bills are going to play them next week too, when I would assume that the Jets are even more checked out.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I can't predict that Josh Allen is going to one-up this performance.
I think you're going to get a Trubisky special.
Well, I don't think Trubisky's going to do it either.
I'm with you. I don't think he's going to. So, yeah, it was that's probably story number 1, 2, and 3 is, again, level of competition being what it is. Drake Maye was unbelievable. There's zero criticism. There's zero mistake. You can look at the quarterback and say there were zero mistakes today.
Right. Yeah. No, not even close to a turnover in this play from Drake Maye, in this game from Drake Maye. And I tweeted this. I think I even wrote it. It's the best comparison I can possibly make. When you've been playing Madden 2004, let's call it, for 6 months, and then you play on rookie mode, and you just cannot be stopped. You've got you score a touchdown every single drive. You just immediately force 3-and-outs. That's how it felt watching this game. And it never stopped. That was the most impressive thing, is that Mike Vrabel talks about no naps. The offense never took a nap with Drake Maye at quarterback. They scored 6 straight touchdowns. And the defense, up until the backups came in, really not a lot of naps either. They allowed 1 field goal, but I know, like, yes, it's the Jets, but they had their starting offensive line. They had Breece Hall, and I thought it was at least a little bit important that they were able to continue to stop the Jets' run game, at least early on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the run game was the only way the Jets were going to do anything,
Right.
and they bottled it up except for the big touchdown run. I'll ask
And that was when Brendan Schooler was playing defense.
It happens. I would ask you this, Doug. So we're not going to do throw by throw of all 19 completions. Just top of your head, what would you say was his? I'll go first to give you some time. What was his best throw of the day? I think it was the first quarter throw to Diggs up the sideline when Diggs made that over his head catch while backpedaling in bounds. Like that throw was in a spot where literally only Diggs could catch it.
Yeah.
It was a great catch. Like, it was not by any means an easy catch, but the throw was, I think, probably his best of the day. But you might one up me here.
No, that was actually the first one that came to mind for me as well. And since I was driving for the last 4.5 hours because there was
Connecticut traffic,
rain, what the hell's up with that? I wasn't able to rewatch the game, but yeah, that throw is the one that first came to mind for me as well. What would be your number 2?
I don't know, because I think the touchdowns, guys were open. Maybe the Hooper touchdown, because they ran the play action and it was like he was the one guy going out, and he looked kind of covered, off the snap. And I was like, oh, I guess he's not gonna. And he threw it, and it was a perfect touchdown. So I mean, a 2-yard
Henry catch was pretty good. The one
in front, like, that wasn't the touchdown,
right? Yeah,
to the 2-yard line.
Yeah, that throw was pretty good.
He had some good ones.
He had some good ones, and yeah, I mean, obviously, guys were wide open in this game, but overall, it's hard to have a performance against the Jets that helps your MVP candidacy. But this is the type of performance where, like, literally statistically, it was the best individual quarterbacking performance of the season that Drake Maye had out of all NFL quarterbacks this year. So
for any game,
yeah, out of any game all season. So I think that helps him a little bit. Obviously, it matters what Matthew Stafford does next week. I think it helps that the Patriots won the AFC East, and like ultimately the MVP does not matter that much, but it's something. It would be fun, I would think.
I said this. We like to do this on TV. I mean, on TV. We like to do this on this podcast. We like to say, I've said this before, and we say where we said it, whether it be on Twitter or television.
Right.
It's just what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I was. They asked the bigwig. It's a little behind the curtains peek for anyone that doesn't know showbiz. When they're plotting out a Christmas Eve show, they're like, who are the bigwigs we can get to come in? We need, and I was one of them. So I got the Christmas Eve call.
Unreal.
So I'm sure everyone listening was tuned in because Christmas Eve sports shows were big. I said, like, the bigger point and story on Drake Maye in this MVP conversation is that in December of year 2, you're having this conversation.
Right.
And I think that's really ultimately the only thing that matters. Like, I think voters will still look at that 40 touchdown number and give it to Stafford, and Stafford warrants it. It's not like it's a bad pick. But the fact that Drake Maye is right there presumably means you're going to be in pretty good shape for a long time at the quarterback position. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to caution that a little, right? You had, come on, Michael, Carson Wentz. I think that was year 2. He was going to be the MVP in 2017 before he tore his knee.
Right.
In the LA Coliseum in week 15, 16. And then Brady got the MVP that year at age 40. That is one case of a second-year quarterback being an MVP and then not panning out the way that was expected. I don't see Drake Maye following that path. That's just me, though.
No, I don't see it either. And yeah, it is impressive that we're having this conversation in year 2 with Drake Maye, because I don't think it's one that we necessarily expected, even though I will say I dug it up. I did have a bold prediction coming into the season that Drake Maye was going to be a Pro Bowler this season, which he is. I thought that would be, it was only bold because of how good the AFC quarterbacks were heading into this year. And
Phil
it helps
Rivers.
that, yes, of course,
Who else?
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook, of course.
Yep. No,
Yeah,
but
there's a
obviously it
lot.
helps that Joe Burrow got hurt. It helps that Lamar Jackson got hurt. It helps that Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. But like Maye was going to be a Pro Bowler regardless. You don't have this season. 4,000 yards now, 30 touchdowns. Talk about all these like records that he has every week. We were talking about those early in the season. He's now the only quarterback in NFL history who's had 200 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 90% completion percentage in multiple games in one season. He's one of 3 Patriots quarterbacks now with 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. He's one of 3 Patriots quarterbacks with something else too. I forgot
I'm
what it was.
sure.
But
I'm
yeah,
sure. And Doug, he did his post game interview with Fox. I forget who it was. Christina Pink, maybe. And he still is too young to grow a beard. So that
yeah,
puts it all in perspective. Like he's trying. It's just
right,
he's too young. He can't do it.
right. This is a interesting comment, and I shouldn't just single this one out. How bad does the coverage of the team look based on the Vikings practices? I mean, I don't know. The practices happened. Like
Mm.
they they struggled in those practices.
Yeah, I mean, you could say how did the coverage of the team look for the Vikings practices when they lost twice in September? Like they were a
Right.
team that had a long way to go and went a long way. You
Yeah.
know,
Right. That was the same team that did lose to the Raiders and lost the Steelers and turned the
right?
ball over 5 times, and then they 1,000% pulled it together, which is really big. So that's the big
Rapido.
story of the game.
All right,
Like,
Doug. But no,
I'm gonna
no,
be honest. Can
yeah,
I be completely honest?
no.
Totally transparent. I probably watched like 75% of the Jets' offensive plays in this game.
Okay. At a certain point, like after halftime, well, you said 70%.
Yeah,
So
70,
somewhere
75%.
when Dobbs is in, the offense, you're kind of like, okay, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Right.
You're gonna sit there and analyze it. You're gonna say
Right.
Joshua
Oh,
Dobbs needs
one
to be
other
better.
thing, real quick. Jeff Dawkins said, I don't mean that as a bad thing, just crazy how he reacted. I would agree with that. It was crazy. But it wasn't crazy. I don't know. I feel like it was the reality in the moment, and it was
Right.
reality the first 3 weeks of the season.
That's all you can do.
But no, I mean, Jets offensive plays. It was just like they are not doing anything. Nothing that. And once the backup defenders came in, that became more about I need to do a podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Everything consequential has happened so far, so I need to write ahead on what I'm going to write about Drake Maye, what I'm going to write about Efton Chisholm,
hmm
writing my gamer. It just I don't know. Yeah, when Brendan Schooler's playing defense and when Miles Battle's in there and everything, it's like, all right, we've seen what we need to see.
There was a point, and it was somewhere in the third quarter, probably when it was 35-3,
Yeah.
where I said, has the Jets wide receiver caught a pass? Because everything was going to running backs or tight ends, like quick
Yeah.
passes. And you look at the end of the game, even after all that garbage time, like basically a second half of garbage time. Drake Maye
Yeah.
came out 6 minutes into the third quarter.
Right.
The Jets' leading receiver was John Mechie with 41 yards. Like,
Yeah, I mean Brady
it-
Cook only threw for 152 yards.
it's an NFL game,
Yeah.
It's just they could have had Austin McNamara throw a few more passes.
I mean, he had a 79.2 passer rating.
He was slinging
Better
it
than
back
Brady
there.
Cook's.
But yeah, no, the offense was tough to watch. I think Breece Hall, was the only real concern. And for the
Yeah.
most part, outside of what was the touchdown run? Like
59 yards.
outside of the 59-yard run,
Outside of the 59-yarder, he averaged 4 yards per carry.
I will
And
Gerard Mayo that one because it's worthy in this game.
it's like when the Patriots' actual defense was on the field,
Yeah.
they were bottling up the Jets' offense.
And even then,
they
it
scored
wasn't
3 points.
I mean, Spillane was out, Landry was out, Donga was out, so it wasn't
Milton
even.
Williams is still out.
Williams is still out. So you had
It was
Christian
only
Barmore,
7/11ths of the starting defense.
right? Christian Barmore getting in halftime fights. So
That was wild to watch in real time because I think he just kind of like brushed away Mike Vrabel, but just the fact that there was that contact there. If you guys missed it, Christian Barmore got hit late by Armand Membu. Barmore was on the ground and Membu basically did like a Vader splash on him.
Spear, yeah.
And Barmore was pissed after the game. So I talked to Barmore. Is Sophie Weller and I went up to him, and he was like sitting in his locker on his phone, like scrolling on his phone. I was like, "Do you have a second to talk?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he kept scrolling on his phone, like as I was asking the question. I was like, "So like, what happened at halftime?" And then he just like burst up, and was like, it just went off on Armand Membu. It was great. I mean, it was like he said what he had to say, and he obviously wanted to say that. He had 2 hours to think about what he was going to say, and he really did not enjoy the fact that Armand Membu did what he did. And I give Christian Barmore credit for waiting to explode
Mm.
on like at the half, and then in speaking to the media, and didn't draw a penalty during the game over it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen Christian Barmore speaking. Like, I feel like when he was like a rookie, he had an electric preseason post-game press conference. And since
So
then,
Barmore is kind of tricky to talk to during the week, I would say. Um, and then I think that a lot of people then don't automatically go talk to him after games because he's tricky to talk to during the week. But he's good. He's good after games. He's a good quote after games.
well,
So
the I almost said hormones. I don't think that's the right word. The endorphins are flying,
right.
and sometimes people are just a little more. Their guard is not as
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the hormones. I don't know. I don't know
I don't know.
what's
I
going
can't
on
speak
in
for the hormones.
people's blood. So the Patriots won the game. It was a absolute slobber knocker blowout. They won the AFC East. Let's get to the bad stuff. Enough of the let's just crush them. You know, they gave up the fake punt. Unbelievable. Rabel job security. What do you think?
I think he's pretty safe.
Okay, I was just checking because I've seen tweets. I've seen the tweets.
Yeah.
Some people are saying,
Wait,
no,
what?
fire Vrabel. They gave up the fake punt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know if that was tongue in cheek. You can never really tell. But you were saying during the games, it's hard to find the dooms. Should we just start with booms? Should we just start doing booms? Because
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Drake
I
May
think
gets a boom.
Drake May gets a boom. Stephon Diggs gets an obvious boom. I don't think
Yes,
there's any
Stephon
question
Diggs
there.
definitely gets a boom. It's almost too bad that he came out of the game so early because he probably could have got to 1,000 in this game.
Oh, really? So what did he need? 140?
He only needs 30 yards now.
Oh, so he needed 130. So he got 100.
Yeah.
Well, they can work on that next week. So
I know, but I do wonder how much I guess they're still playing for the number 1 seed.
not really, because
We don't even know what time the game is.
I think by the end of this podcast we might know. I saw Jonathan Jones of CBS tweeted. He said the NFL hopes to be able to release the Week 18 schedule at the conclusion of tonight's game. It's like, what do you mean they hope? They're
Well,
the NFL.
The Broncos play the Chargers, right?
Yeah, but the Chargers have nothing to win, so I'm guessing they'll be resting everyone. So theoretically, the 1 seed would be at stake. So I assume the Patriots will play in the 4 o'clock window at the same time as Denver, because they wouldn't want a theoretical Patriots loss to then negate the significance of the Denver game. This way, you theoretically have 2 real games happening. So I'm just assuming that that'll be a later game,
right?
Because you can't play a game in Denver at 1. So
no.
I just solved.
I did
the
get a question,
problem.
Scott. Just a question: are you a locker room reporter? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I'm not sure what a locker room reporter is, but I'm a reporter who asks players questions.
I'll do it. I'll be the locker. So you walk in. There's a bunch of lockers. To one area, there's like the equipment area. There's some showers down a hall, and then there's like a sort of an L shaped at the end of the locker room, and then you're out of the locker room. And that is your locker room report.
So yeah, it probably will be a 4 o'clock game on Sunday, which I prefer a 1 o'clock.
I'm calling it a pervert special. Like the people that will be filled, and it'll be a largely meaningless Week 18 game. A lot of giveaways.
Right.
People aren't going to want to go to a January game at 4:30 when it's like the playoffs are next week. If you're a season ticket holder, you got to go the next week. Right. Those are the giveaway tickets. I'll go.
Yeah,
I'd go. I went last year for Week 18. It might be a new tradition.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Chargers. Yeah, the Chargers might be able to play for seeding, right? But
sort of. But it's kind of like, I don't know. There's so much out of your hands at that point. I think rest becomes number one when you know you got to play a wild card game the next week.
If the Patriots do finish with a number 2 seed, then
if they get the Chargers, I think they're in good shape.
Yeah.
That team looked
yeah.
like a mess Saturday. Put them outside in January. I don't love their chance. Even does
So
anyone
what
make
the most likely scenario here is that the Broncos beat the Chargers, the Bills beat the Jets.
Yeah.
And who are the Texans playing? Texans are playing the Colts.
That sounds right.
So yeah, the most likely scenario is still that the Patriots play the Chargers. In the first round.
What if the Bills tank it next week? You can't tank it against the Jets.
Oh, tank to play the Patriots?
Just punt and just rest. And I mean, like, I don't think Josh Allen's going to play.
True. He had X-rays after the game.
His foot's messed up. His ankle's messed up. James Cook got looked at and kind of was ineffective today.
Well, if you're the Bills,
I think you'd
prefer to play the Jaguars or the Ravens Steelers.
Rather than the Patriots,
right?
I guess, but I don't think they're sitting around worried about the Patriots. I think the priority for those three wildcard teams, Houston, Chargers, Bills, and maybe not Houston because they're in the top spot, is just rest and get ready for the playoff game. Because I don't know, you could go all out and lose, you could go all out and win, and it wouldn't affect your seeding. I just think what you can control is protection and just not getting key players hurt. So I'm assuming that's what Week 18 is going to look like for anyone that doesn't. And like, yes, the Broncos still have to go out and win the game, but on 12 days of rest against the Chargers team that's not playing for. I don't think that'll be it. So yes, technically the 1 seed is up for grabs. I'm not looking at it as a realistic outcome next weekend.
That's fair. So we're still doing booms and dooms, but this is one quick aside. Galaxy Brain. Next season, the Patriots play the same place finisher in the AFC North at home. I think you want the Steelers to win the division.
Just so you get them next year?
Yeah, so you get them next year.
Wow.
Would you rather play the Steelers next year than the Ravens next year?
Probably.
Because you don't Aaron Rodgers probably isn't going to be the quarterback.
He might be.
If he is, that's probably a guy you want to play.
Right.
Wouldn't you rather take your chances on the Steelers and whoever their quarterback is next year than playing Lamar again?
I don't think you're wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be frank. I don't care about that right now.
I know,
but
it's
a fair thought. It's truly Galaxy Brain, and I'm just down here on planet Earth, just trying to
really
tend to my garden.
Really quick. I swear this is gonna be really quick. The Patriots' schedule next year is a goddamn gauntlet. They play the Bills, the Bears, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Packers, the Vikings, the same place finisher in the AFC North, which is either Steelers or Ravens, the Jets, same place finisher in the AFC South, which is probably going to be the Texans, and then same place finisher in the NFC West, which is probably going to be the Seahawks.
Could be the Jaguars in the South.
Could be the Jaguars, and could be. Are the 49ers going to win this game?
It's 35-35. There's no defense.
Well, regardless if it's the Seahawks, 49ers, or Rams, it's hard to find automatic wins on that schedule next year.
Yeah.
Outside of the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Raiders.
I had a take at some point this year where it's like the schedule setup for the NFL is stupid. When the Patriots have made it through 17 weeks and still we're like, play someone good. It's like, I agree. They should be playing better teams, right. But you never know how it's going to work out. You can do it did work out that way when you looked at when the schedule came out in May. Was that when they do it now? And it was the Giants have the hardest schedule in history. It ended up being as hard as anticipated, but I feel like it's rare that it actually pans out that way.
Yeah, and it looked like at the time that the Patriots had an extremely easy schedule, and they did. But third boom, Efton Chisholm, first NFL touchdown, first NFL catch.
Oh yeah. So I had a thought when everything was playing out and Hollins went to IR yesterday, and talking about Chisholm this morning, it was this was a guy that had such a good summer. His spot on the roster was never in question. We forget, we would do all these roster projections and be like, Chisholm's on the team. Chisholm's on the team. And
at a certain point in the summer, yes, he started slow, but at a certain point it was automatic.
It was, the last, 4 weeks of preseason, it was obvious Chisholm was going to be on the 53-man. And it's like, that was the position group we all said, yeesh, still not that great.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of Bourne, right? That was still this year. We saw him have a
Mm-hmm.
catch tonight. And he still couldn't really get on the field outside of an injury week.
Yeah.
We
2
haven't,
injuries, Keyshawn Boutte and Matt Collins. Yeah.
and that happened early in the year, and he played but didn't get any action. It was just sort of a like jolting reminder. Like, the receiving core has been so reliable that this guy that people were clamoring for, people wanted Matt Collins cut, so
Right.
Efton Chisholm made the team, etc. To see him actually get out there after 17 weeks
Right.
was pretty impressive. I know everything's curbed by saying I know it's the Jets, but it was a nice touchdown.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
his
he's going up
first
against
catch was nice
professional
too.
players. Yeah.
Yeah, the first catch was the first explosive play of the game, was it not?
I believe it was. Yeah. No, I mean, I said
X-play.
after the Giants game, are like, hey, by the way, Patriots wide receiver core for once actually is not a weakness.
Yeah.
And then they actually did kind of look like a weakness against the Bills, but then they came back against the Ravens, came back this week against the Jets, and like, I mean, Stephon Diggs is probably going to have a 1,000-yard season, and Keyshawn Boutte's been a nice player. Matt Collins, like when Matt Collins went on IR, everyone was like, crap, that sucks. He's a good player. Kyle Williams, not perfect, but he's made some big plays in recent weeks. Demario Douglas, when he's on the field, can make plays. Efton Chisholm out there. The Hollins thing, I'm still trying to get more information on it. It's a weird one because he finished the Ravens game and then pops up with an abdomen injury on what, Wednesday? Tuesday, Wednesday?
It's a weird week. There's a
And
Christmas.
then doesn't practice, gets placed on IR on Saturday. And like all week, I can't even tell you how many minutes or hours Mike Reese and I spent figuring out how the Patriots would open up a roster spot, because it was like, they can't really cut this guy. They can't really cut this guy. They can't really put this guy on IR. They can't really put this guy on IR. And then Hollins really was one that we didn't even consider. But I mean, abdominal injury, I have no idea. Like, I'm completely speculating. I have absolutely no, I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to get information on it. I haven't. There's only so many things that abdominal injury can even be, right?
I really don't know. I wonder.
Is a hernia an abdomen injury or a groin injury?
I think that's more when your like groin muscle comes out of something and is like bulging.
And Hollins traveled for the game. He was kind of like celebrating on the sideline at times.
Huh. So he wasn't like
I don't know.
bedridden.
No, he wasn't bedridden.
And it's in no way, to clear up what you're saying, was no way roster manipulation, because he's not eligible to play until the conference championship game now.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when people say it's a big loss. It's not because of the Jets and the Dolphins. It's because of the playoff games you're going to have to win without. I would argue
you're going to have to win 2 games without him.
I would argue he's been Drake May's like safety blanket, because you could throw high to him, you could throw low to him, you could throw behind him. He always caught it. And drive starters, to get the chains moving for the first time when you're at your own 17 and you need to get out of there. He looked to Matt Collins over the middle. So it'll make any and all playoff wins that much more difficult without him. So I don't know. That's assuming he can even come back. He can even come back at any point, because who knows what this thing is.
Well, see, this made me laugh a little bit. And I think it turns out that now the rule is that, like, if you get the first round bye, then you would only have to miss 3 games.
Okay.
Because a lot of Patriots fans were being like, it's unfair that if they get the bye, that means that he can't return until the Super Bowl. And like, it's like, well, the Patriots know the rules, and they're putting him on IR with the assumption that he's not going to be ready in the next 4 games. So I think that tells you, and like Vrabel said today, like, he's going to have to be helping off the field moving forward this season. So yeah, I don't know what it looks like when, I don't know. I mean,
I think you just got to assume he won't be there if you get there, because if there was any doubt, that if there was any possibility that he could play in the divisional round,
right,
which is what, 4 weeks from now, basically, then you wouldn't have put him on IR. So I got to assume
you wouldn't even take that risk. If it's a 3 to 4 week injury, I don't think you're putting him on IR.
To miss playoff games. So yeah, I got to assume that's it. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And it's a big loss because you were going basically 4 to 5 deep at wide receiver, where Diggs, Booty, and Hollins were obvious starters. Douglas is like a borderline starter, and Kyle Williams was good enough in spurts to make big plays for you. Now this just pushes everyone up a level, where now next week, assuming Booty's back, Diggs and Booty are like the obvious starters, and then someone out of Douglas, Chisholm, or Williams is going to have to be your other starter.
Mhm.
And I don't really know who that's going to be at this point. You would think it's going to be Williams because he's played the most in recent weeks. Like he's an outside wide receiver, but in this week's game, when they needed that blocking wide receiver, lining up in line, hands on knees running play,
Mhm.
it was Efton Chisholm. It wasn't Kyle Williams, wasn't Demario Douglas, wasn't Stephon Diggs. It was Chisholm. So I don't know. Maybe Booty takes on that role, but I don't know.
No, Hollins is, a unique skill set on this team,
Yeah.
size and skill. So he had 67 going into this week, 67.8% of the offensive snaps, which was most, with Booty behind him at 59%,
Yep.
and then Diggs at 55, Demario Douglas at 27.2. So you're going down. I mean, and Kyle Williams 26%, and I believe these were Efton Chisholm's first offensive snaps of the year today.
He
So
played 25 before this, but didn't get targeted. So yeah,
okay,
pretty
well,
much.
that's what you're going to in that next spot. So yeah, it's can they beat, say, the Chargers without him? Yeah. If you get to the next week and it's Houston and it's, Buffalo, whoever it may be, like it's a different story. So
Yeah.
potentially a backbreaker there, but not for the time being.
No, it's true.
You want some more booms?
Yeah, let's do another boom, then we'll talk about prize picks for a second.
I go with both running backs. I mean,
Henderson too.
Henderson had 82 yards, in a game where you needed to run clock. Like he was playing, coming off the concussion, he looked fine. So I think the fact that you had quick math, 129 yards out of Stevenson and Henderson,
Yeah.
effective, and then Stevenson obviously with 5 catches, 55 yards, the touchdown where he was quite open.
Yeah.
But he was, I think, you talk about who's going to make up for some of the Mac Hollins catches. Like Stevenson randomly will have games like this where you're like, oh, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah, I think Stevenson can step up as a receiver. The other way, we're going along on Mac Hollins, but like I think the other thing that they're going to do, probably more 2 tight end sets. We're going to see more of Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper.
Yep.
We're going to see more of Thayer Munford as the jumbo tight end. We're probably going to see more of Jack Westover when he's healthy. And we're probably going to see more of those pony sets where Trevion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson are on the field at the same time. We've got one guy in our comments, Scott, who's kind of all over the place.
Scott
first time
Casmar.
here. Thanks for having me. Who are you guys? Just introduce yourselves. I'm Scott. Nice to meet you. I think we did that off the top. But
Yeah.
then he also thinks that Trevion Henderson didn't play in this game. So Scott's kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
Scott, I don't know what to say about you.
I'm Michael Hurley, a locker room reporter.
I'm Michael Hurley, a locker room reporter. I would put Stevenson on there. I would say it was a quiet 82 yards for Trevion Henderson.
That's fine. But I just think the fact that he looked fine. And
Yeah.
this is a game, very early it became clear, like the clock was the only opponent. And
Right.
he helped you in that endeavor.
It's true. So let's talk about prize picks here. If you use code CLNS, then you can get, I'm just going to pull it up because I'm bad at this off the top of my dome. And at some point, since I'm so bad at this, you might have to start doing it.
Yeah. I'm really good at stuff.
But this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season. Best time of year for sports. You got bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is Prize Picks. Like I was saying, if you use code CLNS, you get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So, full disclosure, I was already in New Jersey when I was about to play Prize Picks and wouldn't let me do it. But I
Oh,
definitely would have had Brees Hall more than.
yeah.
So I hit that one.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to say I was going to have Stephon Diggs more than as well.
I would have had some Drake May touchdowns too, whatever that would have been.
Yeah.
So I think technically, if you break it down, we hit our prize picks this week.
We
Shout out
did.
to us. Congrats to us.
We
didn't do the midweek.
We broke the streak.
We didn't technically do a midweek podcast because it was Christmas, but we
It was
would have.
really tough to try to figure out when to do it.
We would have gone. Now you might rewind the tape and hear both of us saying we thought it might be a tighter game. 13.5 seemed like a lot. We were just messing. Our prize picks are really our theoretical prize picks are really what our thoughts were.
It's true. Well, if you want our real prize picks, we will give them to you midweek this week. Since I don't know about you, I'm not a big New Year's Eve or New Year's Day guy.
It's a struggle to stay up till midnight these days.
Really?
Sometimes I'm just like, I gotta watch the freaking ball drop? Like I'm tired. It's gonna be? You go to bed, you wake up, it's the next day, the sun's out, it's great. So yeah, I guess that answers your question.
So we'll do a midweek podcast this week, and we'll figure out what we want to do for that.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
The reason I felt, because you and I planned on doing a podcast the day after Christmas,
right?
There was a point where I was like, no one's going to listen to this. And by no one, I mean like a much smaller amount. And then I didn't want to give a subpar product to the people who were kind enough to listen to us on the day after Christmas or whatever. So maybe we left a few people high and dry that had to work and could have used a little commute. Yeah. So I apologize for that. But I don't think we would have brought the juice knowing that it was kind of like a kind of day. Like,
it was just it was a tough scheduling. Because Wednesday was Christmas Eve. You can't really do it then. Thursday's Christmas. Then by Friday, it's like it's too close to the game. So we will do it next week, and we will give you our prize picks.
We'll make it 2 weeks in a row where we get them right.
It's true. And these won't be purely theoretical. Other booms.
Any on the defense?
I thought Jack Gibbons played pretty well in this game. Tackle for loss, filled in for Robert Spillane. Run defense was an issue. I think Gibbons got kind of like he was a little bit of an unheralded boom in this one.
Sure. I will just trust you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take you. I liked Christian Gonzalez played pretty competitively.
He did.
For a game where I think we've talked about whether he underestimates some opponents and takes some snaps off. I didn't see that today. There was no AD Mitchell running free and just dropping wide open passes today.
Right.
I think Gonzalez, the only pass I can remember giving up, he was playing 10 yards off on 3rd and 10, and they ran like a 7-yard hitch. And it's like, well, I don't really know how you break that one up playing 10 yards off. So he was good, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I go boom, but noteworthy.
Yeah, certainly noteworthy. Outside of that, there wasn't like a great performance by defend. Jalen Hawkins had the interception. He also missed a tackle on the 21-yard carry by Brees Hall, but I'll give him a boom for the interception. He's been a nice little play. He's been a nice playmaker for the Patriots this season.
Del Pettis could have had a pick six, but it was actually I was ready to be like, dude, right through your hands. It was actually a good throw by Brady Cook. So he ripped it in the exact
Pettis
right spot.
had a sack too in this game.
Yeah, that was a good sack. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just they got through it.
So heavy, Drake Maye, and when you throw 5 touchdowns to 5 different players, like only so many of those guys can get booms. Hunter Henry probably deserves a boom. He had a good game. The tight ends in general, because Austin Hooper played well too.
Yeah. A lot of booms. You got any dooms?
Dooms are tough. Special teams for allowing the fake punt.
In the most obvious.
The next one.
The most obvious fake punt situation. It was midfield. Right. They're down what at the time? 35-3.
Yeah.
And it's 4th and 6. And it's like they're punting. It's like they're not punting. You got to at least be ready for any sort of fake. Right. And they kind of were, but still gave it up.
Yeah.
That was a rough one.
Yeah. Backup defense. Someone just mentioned in the comments, Brendan Schooler took a bad angle on the Brees Hall touchdown. And like those guys might be counted on if there's injuries, but Durden got pushed out on that play. Schooler took a bad ankle. Jelantavai, Del Pettis were also pretty close to
Mhm.
where like they could have made a stop on that play. And just overall poor backup defense,
Yeah, you
run
could
defense.
throw the kicker on there. He missed
He
not a
doinked
long
it.
kick.
Yeah.
I want to throw. This is personal. This is a beef. Mike Vrabel on there. So late second quarter, Patriots are driving. I want to get this. I want to get this right. Yeah, Patriots get the ball 148. Stevenson runs for 4 yards. Jets call timeout,
That was strange.
and the Patriots end up scoring
Yeah.
with 37 seconds left. Now, Vrabel Vrabel called timeout after a second down sack with 20 seconds left to be like, throw it. We'll block your punt. And I think
Right.
the camera showed him, and he was kind of like, why not? Why
Yeah.
not? There, like it was perfectly Vrabel to
Yeah.
call timeout there. So I appreciated that. I thought that was good. But the last play of the third quarter, I believe it was Brees Hall got a carry, was a full yard short. He was a full yard short. The side judge came out. He's like, first down. And I was like, when they come back from commercial, they better be challenging this. At that point, it was 42-3 or 10. And
Yeah.
it was like, challenge it. I dare you. And he didn't. So you know what, Vrabel? I would have appreciated that. It could have really sparked an Aaron Glenn, Mike Vrabel rivalry.
I was thinking about this on my drive home. I would be extremely supportive of Rabel and these other AFC East coaches just being extremely petty with one another. Just to like, aren't rivalries fun? Like, would it be bad at all to have a rivalry with your divisional opponents? To have a little bit of bad blood?
I guess
Like, it's not a distraction. It's not like,
it's difficult though if you're talking to Christian Barmer and be like, you gotta let it brush off your shoulders, man. You gotta just get past it, and then
right.
you throw a challenge flag for a spot in a 40-point game. There's a mixed message there, so I get it. But
Yeah.
like when Sean McDermott was shoving Brian Belichick or like screaming and telling him to F
Right.
off to get out the field, that's the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rex Ryan was great for business,
That's true.
Too bad his Bills tenure was so short. But
Yeah.
remember, he didn't know who Dion Lewis was, and then Dion Lewis had a huge game. Like there was good stuff. So yeah, I'm with you, but I don't know. Maybe it's the former player respect thing that came into play.
Yeah.
But I would have appreciated the challenge there, Mike.
I want to give a doom to MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
I know I probably tweet about this literally every time I'm there. You could not come up with a more boring stadium.
Yeah.
It was built within the last
It's 2009.
14 years, 15
10?
years.
All right. I searched up your tweets. October 15th, 2017. MetLife Stadium, or as I like to call it, the back of an air conditioner.
It's a good tweet because it's a good observation. The entire stadium looks like the back of an air conditioner.
Yep. Looking for some straight up disses. Oh, 2018. He's back. MetLife Stadium or the back of an AC unit. So you doubled up.
I like to reuse that one.
You did compliment them for copious amounts of bacon in 2017 on your breakfast platter.
I did get a lot of bacon today too, and they had an omelet bar now.
It sounds like a compliment.
Yeah.
I always forget MetLife has these dumb stanchions in the press box.
Oh God, those are the worst.
Can't see like 15 to 20 yards at a time.
Yeah.
And
that's inexcusable for a new stadium.
2014, the very gray view from inside MetLife Stadium.
All the seats are gray. It's various shades of gray. 50 maybe even.
Yeah, it was you're pretty consistent.
There's no defining characteristic of it. It's all the same throughout. It's all grayness throughout the same. They don't have a pirate ship. They don't have a lighthouse. And granted, you can't do those types of things when two teams play there. But I feel like they could have done better. And the thing that I think sucks the most is that like there's really no reason why a stadium built within the last 20 years should just have exposed concrete places. Somehow MetLife Stadium does. Like they would have been better off just keeping Giant Stadium. At least there was history there.
Yeah.
Building this like soulless mausoleum of a stadium you should have done better.
Let me ask you this. You're more well-traveled than I when it comes to these things. From afar on TV,
Yeah.
Levi Stadium looks like it sucks too.
Levi Stadium sucks.
Like, how do you screw
So
that up? You're California. You got money at the wazoo. You got all this. You're in Santa Clara. You're
yeah.
like a mile. You're a million miles from the city. You should be able to crush it. It looks like it has no personality. The sun. They screwed the sun angle up.
So Levi Stadium, they built all of the suites on one side. So if you're looking at that side of the stadium, it looks like an office building. It genuinely looks like an
Yeah,
office building from
but
one
like,
side of it.
but like
And that's
Legos.
another thing that's inexcusable. If you're building a football stadium, it cannot look like you're in downtown Boston in the financial district looking at some dumb 20-story building.
I'm with you, and it's like so skinny, and like the balance is off.
Yes.
It's ugly, and I like Green Bay has renovated Lambeau and it looks seamless. So
Yeah.
you can do all these things.
Also, Gillette Stadium looks great now.
Right, especially you say compared to Tennessee, which is sort of falling
Yeah.
apart. I would ask you this, okay? I'm looking at like the new crop of stadiums. I've been to Atlanta and Minnesota, and they're both beautiful buildings,
Yeah, those are good.
marvelous stadiums. I haven't been to Vegas. Have you been to Vegas?
It's cool. It's good.
Seems cool. SoFi seems pretty
SoFi's
cool.
decent. Yeah.
Kind of over the top.
A little bit.
Then you got Atlanta,
There's like
you
a
got Minnesota.
700 level at SoFi Stadium. Just like you don't need that many levels.
Yeah, it's a bit much. And so I think like the more comparable, like Lucas Oil was 08.
Lucas Oil's good. I like Lucas Oil. It's
Dallas.
at least original. Both Dallas and Lucas Oil.
Yeah, and that's the same MetLife era. And like you
Yes.
got that. You got
Right.
that when that was on the table.
Because Lucas Oil and Dallas both have like the warehouse vibes.
Yeah.
Whereas MetLife is just a circular
Yeah.
gray stadium.
It's a tough doom. We'll see how the Giants and Jets respond to this. I expect they'll be releasing statements, but I'm with you. There's nothing appealing. It always looks dreary, as you said.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, as people tweeted to me today, does it help that two terrible teams play there? No. But
People misunderstood your tweet.
well, I guess.
That
But
happens.
it does not help that the Jets and Giants play there because I've been covering this team for a long time and I can probably count on like half of a hand how many games in that stadium have actually had like life.
Right.
It's
Like
almost always
the Jets beat the Patriots in
half-filled.
overtime. Remember, Fitzpatrick had that overtime win against the Patriots.
yeah.
It is the Patriots had a good game against the Giants. Remember, Odell Beckham had a touchdown, but then Malcolm Butler knocked out of his hand, so it was probably 2016-ish.
Yeah.
It was like a meaningful game. Gostowski hit, I think, a 60-yarder to win it or something.
Yeah.
So it had energy, but it still doesn't have that same spirit that, I don't know,
No.
they aren't capturing all those people. It just doesn't necessarily translate.
No. And I'm going to be going there at least once a year for the foreseeable future, which I'm grateful to have this job. I'm grateful to go on the road and all those things.
I'm ungrateful that we didn't do a car pod because longtime listeners of this podcast dating back to August know that we were the car pod kings back then.
It's true. It's very true.
Remember we double car podded?
We did.
That was insane. Two guys
crazy.
in the car
It's never
doing a
been done
podcast.
before.
That's true. We should win an award.
I don't think there's any other dooms.
I might have thought of one earlier, but it was probably pushing it. The only thing that like was not good to me was the fake punt allowed, and
Yeah,
you're gonna get
and
over it.
they did kind of immediately redeem themselves by stopping a fake punt.
Doug? I've watched
Spamming fake punts is funny.
I've watched football since I was probably 6 years old. I've never seen a coach dumb enough to call a fake punt 3 plays after running a fake punt. I used to do that when I played Sports Talk, Joe Montana Sports Talk football on Sega, because the fake punt was a sick play.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said this to you earlier this year, and you pushed back because you're a professional. And I called it kind of a clown show under Aaron Glenn. Are you willing to give me some leeway now?
Yeah. I think that it's a little bit of a circus. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. It's
so
perfectly Jets, but it's like it doesn't have to be that way.
I'm obviously not. I don't know the situation as well because I was very intimately involved with it last season. It feels a little Mayo-esque in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really harsh thing to say.
I made a Mayo comment today. Mike Vrabel's challenge of the spot
Oh,
when Kyle Williams caught it coming back toward the sideline. Did you see where Mike Vrabel was for that?
no.
Literally right there. Like walking down the sideline as Kyle Williams caught it. He watched, he points to the spot. The ball was spotted elsewhere, and Vrabel knew to challenge the flag. And I was just thinking, like, I don't know where Gerard Mayo would have been during that, but it wouldn't have been right there. And
Right. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we don't need reminders of that. But it was less than a year ago that it was all crumbling and falling apart, and they were losing to the Cardinals and just being an ugly football team. So
You know,
I don't know. That's ultimately the story of the year.
I was thinking today.
Yes.
You do. What was it?
Look at all this bacon on my plate. Gee golly, I
There's a
love
lot of
MetLife
bacon.
Stadium.
Mike Giardi kind of shamed me for the amount of food I came back with. But it was my breakfast and lunch.
Mm.
So,
And it's protein.
and it was, yeah. So
Shut up,
screw Mike
Giardi.
Giardi.
Yeah.
In January, when Mike Vrabel was announced as head coach, you were there. I was there.
I was there.
He basically said, like, listen, the first step is that we have to be able to take advantage of bad football.
Yeah.
Like, those were the expectations for this team that he was coming up with. And he said that, like, they at that point were not good enough to do that.
Remove
It's
entitlement
pretty
from the building.
amazing how he went from that in January to then giving the team a speech before the season to say, like, our goal is to win the division. And like, I think that's a goal that can carry over multiple years. Even if you don't accomplish that goal in year one, you can still come back next year and be like, hey, we didn't get it. Our goal this year is to. It's just amazing that in what month is it now? December?
Late December.
In 12 months, Vrabel went from we're not good enough to take advantage of bad football to 13-3, AFC East champs, still vying for the number one seed in the playoffs. Crazy town. Bananas.
It's
bonkers.
It's one thing you can lose perspective of, and I think how this season ends, is yet to be said. It could, as we've noted, it could end wild card weekend, but that won't really detract from the massive strides they took. And you look at, it's hard. The number one thing is the quarterback play. Like this,
Right.
that's the league. It's hard to not say the Vrabel culture is not number two, because it's not as if they came in and stacked the roster and are 1-53 nasty. Right. They still have work to be. I was looking at competitive this year, win 8 games, probably get into the playoffs next year, and then true contention a year later. They're legit contenders right now, and that's a big part is what they are. A big part is that there's no great team they're going to run into in the playoffs, but they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And I don't know that happens with many other people coming in.
No, I agree with that. And I would also say that just as far as this game goes, and I think this speaks to the Vrabel culture and overcoming roster deficiencies. And we mentioned it before, but like winning 42-10 against any team when you are missing your starting
7
left tackle,
starters,
your starting left tackle, 2 starting wide receivers, 2 starting defensive tackles, a starting outside linebacker, and a starting linebacker. That's a lot to overcome. And like you said, Drake Maye is the number one reason why they can still overcome that. But Vrabel and the culture and having guys like Jalen Hawkins playing their best seasons of their NFL career, having guys like Kayshon Boutte, even though he didn't play in this game, taking a massive step forward. It all plays into that. And having Stephon Diggs not caring if he goes 3 straight games with less than 30 yards and then bouncing back with 2 straight 100-yard performances now? Like nothing ever happened. It's big.
It is big. And just to peel it back even more, they went to the Jets last year, week 3. Remember that?
Yeah.
They lost 24-3.
Yeah.
And then they did beat them in New England 25-22. But so the point is you weren't beating anyone 42-10 in those games.
Yeah.
That was their highest output last year, was 25 points.
It's wild.
Crazy.
How was your Christmas?
Christmas was good. It feels like it was months ago, doesn't it?
It does. It was 3 days ago.
Crazy. I don't believe I'm fact checking you there. It was good. How was yours?
Good. It was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to the Cape, I take it.
No,
Oh.
we went from where I live, which is near Franklin, or near Foxborough. It's in Franklin. Um, we went from Franklin to Plymouth, back to Franklin.
Oh, Plymouth. That's basically the Cape.
It is because that's where Jen's sister lives.
The trees in Plymouth are those like skinny, sort of like they feel weak and they grow moss. So if you have the mossy trees, you're at the Cape.
That's fair. That's fair. I apologized to my mom for this, but we were leaving my mom's house on Christmas Day night, and she lives like half mile away. And I was like, I can't do a 10-minute goodbye. We're just leaving right now. Goodbye. And then just like left.
Yeah.
Cause like I couldn't take another, oh, okay, we're going,
Oh, yeah.
and
yeah.
like I
Wait.
felt bad, and I apologized the next day, but I was like,
We got to get you some raviolis.
there was just too many of those over the course of however many days that I was just like, I gotta leave. I have to go home.
I got some new gear. My wife got me a couple of, I guess they're ugly sweaters, but they're sweatshirts, as you know. They've
Nice.
one is no cheeses for us Mises from
Oh,
Muppet
that's
Christmas
good.
Carol.
Yep.
And I guess she couldn't decide. So the other one is Tiny Tim, who did not die, which is a nice Gonzo switch. So I'm loaded up on holiday gear next year.
Wow, that's gonna be
Yeah,
big. Can't
pretty
wait to
big.
see him on the pod.
As for the Bills game, you were driving. Did you get to listen to it?
I
Because it was pretty.
did.
It's a pretty important chapter in what's going on in the AFC East, where
Yeah.
Josh Allen had an open receiver for the winning 2-point conversion and just biffed it. And I
The
got
fact
home
that they did not score in that game
3 quarters.
for
Shut up for 3
quarters,
quarters.
and then
Now,
didn't come back in their usual fashion. It didn't look good.
yeah, they're lacking the talent, but that one was on Josh Allen. It was in his hands. A 2-point conversion.
The Eagles
No
also
bueno.
did nothing in the second half too.
They were brutal.
Did Jalen Hurts complete a pass in the
He
second
did
half?
not. He was 0 for the second half. Every play they ran was handed off, 3rd down. He would escape the pocket, run to the right, and throw it out of bounds. It was atrocious. The Eagles, like in this year where there's so many teams, it's a wide open, as we say, they have no business being as bad as they are.
No.
And they're just slogging it. And it's like today for the first half, I'm like, oh, they're waking up. They're trying to play well. And then their defense played well, but their offense, there's just no excuse to be that bad with Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown, and like Dallas Goedert in there. Like you have such a good offensive collective, and they stink. But anyways,
and then on the Bills side, the fact that their top 2 receivers in this game were Tyrell Shavers and Brandon Cooks.
Cooks had 2 long catches, and it was like, man, he was cut, wasn't he?
He was cut.
He was a
by
street
the
free
Saints.
agent. Yeah,
And he didn't. I don't think he did a whole lot with the Cowboys last year. I'm gonna give you the name of a player.
Yeah.
Who was drafted the same year as Brandon Cooks? Like the most shocking one. I think the most shocking. Oh, there's 2 options here. Blake Bortles drafted the same year as Brandon Cooks.
Bortles has been out of the league for like 4 years.
Taylor Lewan, more famous as a podcaster at this point.
What year was he?
Clinton Dix. What? Johnny Manziel.
Was it like 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was super young. Cooks.
I know
think
he's still only 32. Dominic
like,
Easley. Dominic Easley has been out of the league for like a decade.
He was out of the league pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cooks, when he came to the Patriots, he was only like 25, I want to say. And
yeah,
I remember I wrote a story. He was like the only receiver with that many receptions and receiving yards at that point was Randy Moss.
Yeah.
The second half of the career didn't quite pan out like Randy Moss.
Derek Carr drafted the same year as Brandon Cooks. Derek Carr had a full quarterback career and has retired.
That is crazy. Yeah. But the Bills, I don't know. Like you don't want to face them in the playoffs because of the quarterback. But he was bad today. He had a 40-yard fumble where he didn't chase after the ball. He Cam Newton'd it. Cam Newton can catch him on first take Tuesdays. And it was a Tucker roll. but you should know that's a fumble. It was third down in the red zone. They were in field goal range, and he took a 19-yard sack. He looked bad. He didn't look like an MVP. He did hit Cooks a couple times, but I don't know. That's a franchise that we've talked about it before. They had the window. Brady left. They immediately claimed the AFC East for 5 years. And as of right now, they have nothing to show for it. And they could go on a Super Bowl run, but I don't think they will.
And I'm sure there's some people out there who are like, and this is the team that the Patriots lost to. But since then, Josh Allen has gotten hurt. James Cook is banged up as well, right?
He got looked at. He got flipped over. I didn't have the sound on. He got flipped over and fumbled after he was down and landed on his head and shoulder area. And then he was in the tent there, but he did come back, but he didn't look very good. So
I think that's a big reason why they struggled in that game. And I guess in all reality, yeah, if Allen is playing the way he did against the Eagles, and if James Cook is banged up, then there's not a lot to that team. And I think that they can be beat in the playoffs.
Yeah. So we should do the playoff outlook too, which we kind of did.
We did. So who are you most afraid of in the playoffs? Denver?
I'm not afraid of anyone or anything, Doug.
Wow, you have no fear?
I'm afraid that I might get hit by a comet.
Did you used to wear no fear shirts as a kid?
I used to live the mantra. I don't know that I actually wore the no fear. I was more of an and one. Tell your mama I just dunked in your face.
I had a no fear shirt that said, can't steal second with your foot on first.
That is no fear. Caleb Williams, we're going to violate some play-by-play. Caleb Williams for the win. Just running around like crazy, throws in the end zone, it bounces, and the Niners win 42-38. Before we do the playoff thing, I have a football thought. Yeah. Because when you talk about officiating after certain events, people say you're crying about it. This is not a crying. I want to bring this up. Defensive holding, it's kind of BS a lot of times. It's kind of like sports. They call a penalty for doing sports. Let's say you're playing basketball and you're trying to get open and you run through and there's some people and there's some contact. You got to run through it. They don't stop the game because a man was in your way and might have touched your hip. Right. Some of the defensive holding calls, the weight of the penalty, you get a 3rd and 10 stop, and because a slot corner sort of has his hand on the hip of the receiver, you get a free first down. I don't like it. I need it fixed. Maybe you got to call the penalty. It shouldn't be an automatic first down.
I think that's fair.
There should be degrees, because I get it. Yeah. Then you would just hold and they can't move the ball and it's, destructive. But I don't know. Without a major interference, I don't. Third and 15 incompletion, up free first down. I don't like it. It happens a lot.
Yeah. No, yes. I'll accept that.
You saw it Saturday, right? The Texans, the Chargers lost on it.
Right. Yeah.
That one was a penalty, but it was it
could be a little ticky-tack for sure.
Punishment doesn't fit the crime.
No, it's true.
Then you got Keyshawn Boutte getting tackled while trying to catch a ball, and they don't call anything.
You see that Marlon Humphrey even was yeah, that should have been DPI.
Yeah, because he's a normal human being.
Yeah, he's a sane human being.
Yeah. Anyways, playoffs. There's no great matchup or terrible matchup. Where you're ooh, that one doesn't match the Patriots.
I know, because even Denver, I'm Bo Nix. I don't know. The Texans feel scary because the defense is so good, but I know the Broncos defense is good too. Bo Nix has probably played better over the last 2 years, but Stroud has more upside, so Stroud feels a little scarier than Nix.
Well, let's assume, right? Because you don't have to worry about Nix until the AFC Championship game, most likely. Let's assume the Chargers lose next week because the Broncos need the 1 seed and the Bills beat the Jets because it's hard to lose to the Jets. That means you get the Chargers at home. Wild card round. You feel okay about that one, right?
I do. We're in a safe space in this podcast, so I can repeat my take from a month or two ago.
Yeah.
I called the Chargers and Justin Herbert inconsequential because they just never, ever, 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 ever do anything. Yeah. And I know that Justin Herbert is a good quarterback, but when you don't ever do anything,
right,
at a certain point, you're kind of inconsequential.
Lots of excuses made for Justin Herbert. And at a certain point, you're in year 6. Something has to happen. I'm with you. So let's say you get through the Chargers, which, nothing's a guarantee, but you feel all right about. The Denver's going to get the lowest seed remaining. So in this scenario, we have Buffalo playing Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I probably lean Jacksonville, but not too confidently. The Bills could
I
get through that,
know.
which leaves Houston, Pittsburgh, or Houston, Baltimore. I
Mm-hmm.
think Houston's going to beat whoever that is. So, like
Yes.
Houston, we can pencil in for the divisional round as
Right.
the 5 seed.
Yep.
The only question is, does Buffalo beat Jacksonville? In which case, you get Houston, and then Buffalo would
Right.
play Denver.
Yeah.
So I don't
I'm
know.
not.
There's
I'm not.
there's
Are
no
you?
way. Yeah, Houston's
Jacksonville
offense
doesn't.
stinks.
Jacksonville doesn't do much for me either. I don't know.
So if Jacksonville wins, you likely get them.
Yeah.
Be fun. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they barely beat Phillip Rivers today.
Yeah.
They struggled mightily to beat Phillip Rivers. So
I don't like the. Is there one player on the Jaguars who strikes the fear of God in you?
again, I'm not afraid of anyone. I fear no man. I think they could beat the Jaguars, but I think that's the perfect case where we say they could beat anyone or get beat by
But
anyone.
yeah, I mean, I think that
I'm with you. Like they're not terrifying, but
no,
I
but
don't.
this honestly, like the truth is, the Patriots have had a very easy schedule. So
So have the Broncos.
yes, they have, and the Bills have had a pretty easy schedule as well. But I think that like they could probably beat any team. It's also possible that they could come out and lose to any team.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible either way. I will say that I feel more confident about the team, the Patriots, now than I
Mhm.
did 12 hours ago. And maybe that's dumb. Maybe beating the Jets by 32 points shouldn't cause you to have more confidence in them, but it does for me.
No, I don't think that's crazy because, like I said, it's not like you went out and won 24-11.
Right.
You beat an ass, and that
Yeah.
matters. I'm
Is
looking.
Vrabel going to get screwed out of Coach of the Year by Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson,
Well, the
or
Bears
Michael
lost tonight.
McDonald?
If that matters, that might matter. It
So
might
that
just go
might
to the
matter.
person who wins the most games, which would be Vrabel.
Yeah.
I think what works against him is like I saw a tweet. I don't even know who said it or whatever, but it was like so and so. Like no one inherited more of a mess than Liam Cohen, and it's like I think people just assumed the Patriots were a well-run operation,
I know. Right.
and they weren't. So
No.
I'm not sure. Is Week 18 schedule out yet? No. I thought we'd have it here by
It's pretty
11:40 p.m.
funny that teams don't know if they're going to play on Saturday yet.
I would assume Saturday games have to be they got to be like winner take all, right?
So Ravens Steelers would probably be a Saturday game.
Yeah.
Unless like do they want to save these things for Sunday cuz
Cuz you have an NFC South title game in the Panthers and the Bucks. So you got two of those.
Andrew Callahan just tweeted Patriots Dolphins will kick off at 4:25 on Sunday.
Okay. So there you go. Where's he, what is he, Mr. N? Does he text in Roger?
We might have gotten. It looks like it's might have gotten emailed.
Oh, well, I don't open email. I'm not an old person. You'd think NFL.com might like update. You know what would have it first? You know what would have it first? The Jesus.
Yeah.
No, not in there. Either way, I think that's mostly irrelevant because, like I said, I don't see the Chargers
So
putting it
winner
all out
take
there on the
all
line.
showdown for the AFC North is set for Sunday night.
Okay. So maybe they'll do the NFC South Saturday because it's lower rating draw.
Maybe, yeah.
Either way, 425 could be a meaningless Patriot. Like, how do you approach that? We'll probably talk about that during the week.
It's a
You'll
good
have an
topic
eye.
during the week. I probably come
You,
out and try a little bit.
you got to try. I mean, I don't think there's ever not trying, but it's more just pulling players off the field. If
Right.
if the Broncos are up 21-0 over the Chargers at halftime,
Right.
you probably peel back, right? It's tricky
Yeah.
because what if you peel back and the Broncos blow it and then you lose?
Right.
I think you got to play to win,
Yeah.
and then
You got to
I
play to
don't
win
know.
just in case you can get the number 1 seed.
I don't know how much resistance the Dolphins are going to put up in Week 18 in Miami. Like I was looking at the Jets today.
Quinn Ewers, like you could probably sleepwalk through that game. Can Joshua Dobbs beat Quinn Ewers head to
Yes,
head? Probably, right?
I was looking at a lot of Jets today, and I was like, a lot of guys don't want to be nursing torn ACLs when they're on the beach in 2 weeks,
Right. Yeah.
and that's just human instinct when you're on a hopeless team. The Dolphins had hope. They no longer do.
Yeah.
It'll be, I don't know.
Okay, so Saturday we got Panthers, Bucks, and
Yeah,
Seahawks 49ers. Sunday night we
that's,
got Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
I
Though
think
that's
that Saturday night game is for the 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken.
it is. It's for the
It's for,
division title.
I don't
And
know. Maybe someone else can catch the Niners. I'm not gonna do
Rams
NFC math.
Rams might still be in it depending
This
on
is funny.
tomorrow's matchup.
Yeah, that makes sense. The Rams can get to 12-4, but I don't know. You could do your tiebreakers.
Do you know
What do
what
you
is the most important aspect of that Seahawks 49ers game? I am a Seattle native, and the two stadiums that I've never been to are Seahawks and Panthers. And if the Seahawks finish in first place in the NFC West,
You get to go there next year?
finally get to go to Seattle next year.
Wow. Let's make it happen, Seahawks.
It has to happen. I'm going to be so mad if the 49ers or Rams. It's in San Francisco. That's tough. I don't know if I love my chances here.
Short rest for the Ners coming off the Sunday night game, playing Saturday night.
True.
Anyways, we'll talk about that during the week, but it is an interesting thing to sort of hang over the week where it's like you have to bank on the Broncos not blowing it to the Chargers in order to plan your rest.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the rest matters now. It's
I think you got to play to win.
yeah. What if someone gets hurt?
Sucks, but everyone's already hurt.
That's true. Everyone's hurt this time of year. I've heard football players say that.
No, I mean, obviously the number one thing, you can't get Drake May hurt. But like I think if you come out guns blazing, like you did against the Jets, put up like 3 touchdowns, then you can rest.
Probably. I mean, if you play like you did today, you should be fine.
Rest is for the weary. I don't know if you know that.
Drake May, another thing, took no hits today. He got sacked once, but it was, he went down while getting chased from behind. I think you were pretty safe and you still won by 32 against a bad team. So yeah, I think you'll be okay, but it is an odd thing because if you do lose and the Broncos don't win, it's a major misfire.
Yeah.
Difficult to navigate.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. We never did our Home Alone podcast, so we'll have to do that next year.
What was that?
We were just going to talk about Home Alone.
I calculated the deaths in Home Alone 2, and Marv and Harry die like at least a dozen times. Like it starts with Harry on the seesaw, what do you call it? Catapult.
Yeah.
Destroying a Lincoln. Just the Lincoln crumbled under him. He's dead. Right off the bat. Yeah. We've lost Harry. The bricks are going to kill Marv.
Oh, the bricks are the best.
The burning head into a toilet bowl of kerosene.
Yeah.
Dead. The electrocution. Dead. I think even the toy chest could cause some serious internal damage. I mean, not the toy chest, the tool chest.
The tool chest.
Home Alone 1.
That's the funniest line in the movie, by the way.
Which one? Oh, that was a tool chest. Coming down the stairs.
Falling down the stairs.
Like Home Alone 1, great little fun family romp.
Right.
Home Alone 2 is sick.
Yeah.
Like it is a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little bit demonic.
Right.
It's a little sick.
It's torture porn. Yeah.
It's like Saw 1. It's like Saw 0. It's the precursor to the Saw franchise.
Everyone talks about the dad in Home Alone and Home Alone 2 of like, wow, this guy really doesn't give a crap, blah, blah, blah. People like blame the parents. They blame the police officer in Home Alone 1.
You want us
Tell
to
them
go
to count their kids again, buddy. You think they don't? Do you think they've misplaced a kid? You think they don't know that their kid is not in Paris with them? Tell them to count their kids again. Like that was the full effort he took to try to contact the kid.
Well, he was appalled. He's like, "You want us to go check and see if he's okay?" It's like, yeah.
Well, that's not. I mean, that's that. Yeah, he's not even the police officer I was talking about. The one who goes to the door and says, "Tell them to count their kids again." Yeah. But yeah, it's not what's it called? A dispatcher. The dispatcher should also get fired.
So I did also find a plot hole. We're doing our Home Alone podcast. I found a plot hole in Home Alone 1 where I'm like, all right, they come at 9 to rob the house, right? That's very clearly 9 o'clock. I would say that whole interchange is probably 45 minutes.
Mm.
You know, from the time they're across the street, they get hit in the head with the shovel.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert. At least an hour for the police to come and arrest him, and he's out there looking, right? So it's
Right.
10 o'clock. He's 8 years old. I'm thinking Kevin's going to bed. I don't think he's cleaning up the tar off the
Oh,
basement
yeah.
stairs. I don't think he's cleaning up the broken ornaments. I don't think he's cleaning up the micro machines. I don't think he's cleaning up the paint cans. And then he wakes up at his mom's home and everything's
Right.
clear. And it's funny, I brought that up. And then the next day, SNL basically did that skit where his family comes home and gets like maimed and
Yes.
slaughtered because his props are still up. And it's like, I don't know why it took me that long to think about it, but it's like he wasn't cleaning.
No, he probably wasn't cleaning at that point. Yeah.
What if
Yeah.
it was all in his head then? What if it was all imaginary?
No. I can't live in that world.
Like you can't clean up tar off the basement stairs.
Just really.
Just like, I don't know why there's tar there, Dad. That's weird.
I saw on Instagram someone being like, "Why do the parents never mention that he like defeated the wet bandits in the first movie?" They didn't know, dummy.
Yeah, he didn't tell them.
Yeah.
That
was the whole point of him cleaning up and being like, well, you know, he's like, just hanging around.
Yeah. And then, so the other, I mean, this I've seen pointed out more and more, but I think I was first on it. Like, there's a tweet from 7 years ago, probably. Home Alone 2 ends, and he's pissed about the room service bill. And
Kevin,
it's like,
you spent $956 on room
and
service.
Like, I mean, that has become now obvious. He got a free stay in a suite that costs like $20,000 a night, and he's mad about that.
Yeah.
I think we need to be a little bit put more of a discerning eye on Uncle Frank.
Oh, for sure.
Potentially like criminal type weirdo. Like it starts out, the first thing you hear about Uncle Frank, the first thing you hear about him in Home Alone 2, Home Alone 2, is he said, if I go in there when he's taking a shower, I won't grow up feeling like a man.
Yeah.
It's like weird stuff to say to little boys, like right off the bat, Frank. And then thinking Buzz was funny.
Right.
Frank's trash. Frank's a trash bag, obviously, but it's like, I don't know. This is a weird family.
Yeah. I mean, even like the fact that his parents are okay with Uncle Frank being around.
Right.
If my brother was like that, or if like my wife's brother was like that, I'd be like, that guy sucks. He's not coming on vacation with us.
Right.
2 years in a row.
Right. And he's not always going to be around us.
Right.
Yeah. Frank's just garbage.
Also, the line of like, if Uncle Frank thinks it's bad, it must be really bad. Like Uncle Frank, I don't know. I think Uncle Frank just hates Kevin. He's
a bad guy. He's like a scumbag, I think is the only way to say Uncle Frank. He shouldn't be around the family.
No,
that's true. Home Alone 3, getting away from Frank.
There was a Home Alone 3.
Didn't see it.
Haven't rewatched it since I was a wee boy.
I've seen 1 and 2 many times. That's enough for me.
They were basically on in constant rotation in our house this year.
Yeah, those were popular. There was a moment, I don't know if you had it with Olivia, but when Penny was like 6, we probably showed it for the first time, and she was it was the funniest thing in the history of the universe to her, and that was a pretty great moment.
That's good. Olivia enjoyed it a lot more this year. I think she thinks of that as being like, oh, this is the movie that mom and dad watch all the time, but she enjoyed it more this year, which is good.
That's our Home Alone podcast.
All right, well, we did the Home Alone podcast, so split that off, Amit or Bailey, into a second podcast. That was the Home Alone podcast.
Probably go viral.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk to you guys midweek. Goodbye.